Hey everybody, it's your old pal Uncle Phil, and I'm back at you with another little selection from the Daily Office. I didn't do anything yesterday. I'm not going to necessarily do it every day. Why is my voice cracking? Puberty hits it in your mid 50s. I'm not going to do it every day, but I'm going to just do it on the days where something grabs me. Not that, I mean, most of the stuff in the Bible is interesting on a certain level, but some days I just as I'm reading through this, there's a part that just grabs me. So today, there's a passage, just a little piece that's from First Corinthians 13. I mean, it starts in First Corinthians 12, but the point is everybody who's like been to a wedding has heard this at some point in time. Some wedding you went to, you heard the First Corinthians 13 passage about love. Love is patient, love is kind, you've heard that. Like it's so common, like I mean, it's in movies, like it's like the most used, like wedding Bible slice. Uh, and the thing is, I don't know that it really particularly belongs there wholeheartedly because I'm not sure it's so much about romantic love. I mean, it's fine. Marriage is about more than just romantic love. I digress. The point is, today's passage just has the first three verses of 1 Corinthians 13, and it's crazy because those verses they're a disaster in the best possible way. They're a disaster because they revealed something that I think gets forgotten somehow. Somehow we forget this, and it's the worst thing you could possibly forget. Um, anyhow, it's great because I should have brought my glasses. Anyhow, maybe I can make it bigger with my iPad. Look at that. Yeah, now I do grandpa size letters. Um, if I speak with the tongues of men and angels, but do not have love, I've become a noisy gong or a clanging cymbal. If I have the gift of prophecy, I know all mysteries and all knowledge. And if I have all faith so as to remove mountains, but do not have love, I am nothing. I'm sorry, I laugh because it's just so damning. This passage, this is crazy. And if I give all my possessions to feed the poor, and if I surrender my body to be burned, but do not have love, it profits me nothing. Okay, again, this may be familiar to you. You may have heard this one a few thousand times. But I want you to stop and think about that because the thing that grabs me here, sometimes these very familiar passages sneak up on us or sneak past us because we've heard them so many times. We kind of go, yeah, 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 yeah. I know that bit. I know that bit about the love thing. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Love is patient, love is kind. Yeah, yeah, yeah. If you speak of the tongue of men and angels, don't have love. Yeah, you're a noisy gong, clanging cymbal. Boom, got it. Yeah, right. Check. Memorized that verse in Vacation Bible School when I was, a kid. Yeah, but stop and think about this. We like to paint things in very black and white, binary, 1-0 sort of ways, right? So we like to say sort of Christian or not Christian, like we say that, but look at this. This person who doesn't have the love, they're not, in every other respect, they are not half-assing it. They are serious. This is someone who is very serious about their faith. This is someone who's a true believer, right? I mean, look at this description. They speak with the tongues of men and angels. Okay, so these are the things they have going for them. That's not bad, right? They have the gift of prophecy and know all mysteries and all knowledge. Okay, I came from a background. My religious background was what I like to call the nerd evangelicals. There's like, yeah, I won't go too far into that because I might say something too disparaging about other evangelicals. But we were the nerd evangelicals, and everything was about your scholarship, right? Like, especially if you could drop in about Greek and Hebrew, that you knew the languages and you knew maybe some serious like, church history in terms of you've read all the patristics and all the way up to Karl Barth, and like you'd read it all, you knew it all, and you'd studied it all, especially if you had letters after your name. You'd done the study, you'd earned the degrees, you had the scholarship. That was the gold standard in the world I came from, and it makes a fella insecure, by the way. But but this is why I've sort of spent my life studying this, because I came from a world where studying it was seen as the highest good in many ways. So you speak with the tongues of men and angels. You have the gift of prophecy, know all mysteries and all knowledge. Okay, like like you got it all nailed down. And then it says, and it isn't all just in your head, right? It isn't all just technical, scholarly, intellectual. If you have all faith so as to move a mountain, I'm looking out the window at my mountain. I'd move the camera, but then I'd never get it back in the right spot. But faith to move a mountain. Remember, like you've got the faith to make something big happen. So again, you're not a person you're not some charlatan. You're not some televangelist who's claiming claiming Jesus, claiming faith, but really you're just out to make money. Or you really, you believe it. You have the faith to move a mountain. Okay? You give your possessions to feed the poor, give all your possessions to feed the poor, and surrender your body to be burned. You're willing to be a martyr. You're willing to be a martyr. That's how seriously you take your faith. So I want you to stop and take a little a gander at this person. This is not, again, this is not some person who's a hypocrite in terms of claiming to be serious about their faith, but secretly they're like, again, it's not like we've seen that trope. It's not like that televangelist who's, what is it, the righteous gemstones. You're not doing your thing, but you're, sex, drugs, and rock and roll on the side, sort of thing. It's not just a show. You really believe it. And in most areas we would call valuable, like knowledge of truth and the Bible, faith, giving away possessions, being willing to sacrifice yourself. Those are all things I think we would say are commendable. Those are good things. There's nothing wrong with those. The problem is, and this is why I say this is such a disastrous and damning passage for most of us, you can have all of those things apparently, and if you don't have love for people, it doesn't mean anything. It is nothing. That's the repeated phrase. It's nothing. You are nothing. It profits you nothing. Stop and think about that. Because that's basically like, but I've been such a good boy in these other areas. And it's as if the text is saying, yeah, but if you can do all these other things, but you don't love your neighbor, you seem to have forgotten, you seem to have forgotten that Jesus said, on this depends all the other stuff. Like, what's the greatest command? Love God and love your neighbor. How will they know us? They'll know we're Christians by our love for one another. Like, no greater love is this than you will lay down your life for your brother. Like, love is the highest good. And it isn't just that it's the highest good and it's like, well, this one's an A plus, this one's an 100, and then faith is a 99 and prophecy's a 98. And like, this is basically saying if you don't have the love piece in place, all the other stuff is meaningless. And you can have it. That's the scary part. You can have it. You can have the head knowledge. You can like do the work of like, I'll give away all my stuff, which is, again, these are all lovely things. But if you don't love people, then you've missed the heart of God. Because God is love. God so loved the world. I hear people, again, from my background, people are like, oh, this is just this gospel, this Christianity that's just love. I'm like, well, is that just love? It's just that if it doesn't have the love, apparently it's nothing. Which again, that's a sobering thought for a Friday morning. Just saying. So yeah, so put that in your pipe and smoke it. Love, man, love's where it's at. So never let anybody confuse you on this one. I've spent my whole life studying the Bible. Oh my gosh, I've spent my whole life studying it and teaching it. And I admire people who have immense faith and who are willing to give away their possessions. Like those, again, these are all good things. But man, if we don't have the love piece in place, we got a real problem on our hands. We got a real problem on our hands. So if we're being presented with a version of Christianity anywhere, most alarmingly in the mirror, that somehow has some things going on but doesn't love people And I mean love people who are disasters, love people who are monsters, love people, which is all of this is hard to do. But if we don't find that, if that's not a priority, I'm not saying you have to be perfect. We're not going to be perfect at anything. But if I'm not working to be a person who is marked by love for other people, regardless of who they are, what they've done, if I'm not there, it sounds like I'm nowhere. So, you know, make of that what you will. So the song today is you're all thinking I'm going to pick All You Need Is Love by the Beatles. That's what you're thinking right now. And I'm not. I'm not. Because, the problem with most songs are, about love are that they're about sort of ooey gooey romantic love. And it's really hard to find um, songs about love that don't just make it a sort of romantic. And trust me, I'm a romantic at the end of the day. Like I love that stuff. I'm just saying it it may include romance. It's got to be bigger than that. So I was trying to think of something that was maybe a little more base level, and I thought of here's a song for the day, Nature Boy. It's not perfect for this application, and because I have a beef with this song. Nature Boy. Now, of course, everybody would pick the what they think of as the standard, which is Nat King Cole, and it's excellent. But I tend to like to go for some alternate takes on this deal. And there's, by the way, many alternate takes. I thought about John Coltrane. He's got a fantastic version, but you don't hear the lyrics, and unless you know the lyrics, which many people do, but yeah, I kind of wanted the lyrics in there. I saw Moulin Rouge when it came out in the theaters and thought it was a great movie. And the David Bowie Massive Attack mix that's on the soundtrack of that album is actually hauntingly fantastic. But I'm gonna pick a soft spot in my heart, Ella Fitzgerald. Ella Fitzgerald, I would argue, is my favorite musical artist of all time. Like, if you say you can only pick one person to listen to, who's it going to be? It's going to be Ella Fitzgerald. Just period, full stop, because I think she covers all the bases. Um, and here's the thing: she has a version with Joe Pass, who was this virtuoso jazz guitarist, unbelievable. And they made a series of albums, just guitar and voice, that are great. Now, Ella was just beginning to sort of pass her prime, and I it hurts me to say that, but it's a fact. But that almost makes this better. Hear me out. Like, because the thing is you can hear that her voice doesn't have the elasticity it used to. Like, that song is a heavy song with some sadness in it, with it's very solemn, really. And so she's not her, her 40-year-old, super flexible, scatting all over the place. This is a little older Ella, and and you can hear it, but it kind of works. And Joe Pass's guitar at the beginning, his intro is just, I mean, Joe Pass was crazy, crazy good. Anyhow, Joe Pass, Ella Fitzgerald, Nature Boy. Here's my beef with the song. I'll tell you, it's the one thing that bothers me is I still love the song, but the last line, the greatest thing you can ever learn is just to love and be loved in return. And I would argue that actually it should be the greatest thing you'll ever learn is to be loved and to love in return. Because here's the thing: if I wait until I'm loved by someone to love in return, like if I'm like, or I'm sorry, if you just to love and be loved in return is wait, now I'm messing it up. Maybe it's fine the way it is. See, this is the problem. This is the problem with one take. A smart guy would cut this, but now I'm just thinking about it. Maybe it works that way. I don't know. I guess for me, what I'm getting at is it all starts with me that I was loved first by God. And that informs my ability to love people, even if they don't love me right off the bat, right? Like I can show love to people because I've already been loved. So I've been loved, not in return. See that? There you go. I do have a beef with it a little bit. I At least when it comes to God, I don't love because I don't love in He doesn't love me in return for my love. It's really a difference between love for God and love for people. Because with people, yeah, I should love and then hopefully they'll love me back. But even if they don't, I can love them. But in the case of God, I love because He first loved me. Does that make sense? Boy, I botched that, didn't I? That was horrendous there at the end, but I don't care because I got to go pick up my dog from the vet because she had teeth extracted, and I don't really have time to do this again. So you get what you get, and you don't throw a fit. There you go. Anyhow, like I said, put that in your pipe and smoke it. Um, yeah. So there you go. Love. It's all about love. It's all about love. All about love. And of course, that reminds me to tell you that Jesus loves you. Like that's the great news here. That's the good news of great joy for all people, man. You like the God of the universe loves you, messy as you are. And Uncle Phil, again, I don't do it perfectly, but I try to wish grace, peace, and love to everyone.